everyone, and welcome back to Plutus Picks. My name's Jordan Cox. I'm known as Britain's Coupon Kid at jordancox.com.
And I'm Eva Baker with Teens Got Sense.
So, if you've been watching our weekly episodes, Plutus Picks is a show where we recommend to you some of our favourite shows on streaming services. So that's either Hulu, Netflix, HBO, even Amazon, or even Disney Plus, which is the brand new one which has come out. We've been through 4 different episodes now, and this is our 5th one in our series. I think this is the last one, apart from our special episode next week.
Yes.
So we've got some crackers for you today, and hopefully we can finish on a high before we head to our final special episode. So, Eva, what have you got for us this week?
Well, we are back at you with some themes. We coordinated our shows this week, so we got it together, guys. But we are just kind of talking about shows that we like to watch since we're all stuck at home. We've been doing this for 5 weeks now. We've been stuck at home all of these weeks, and it's been a lot, guys. So hope everybody is hanging in there. So my show for today is Schitt's Creek, which is a very funny show. It's on Netflix, and I'm sure a lot of people have probably heard about it. It gained popularity a lot in the past year. And the show focuses on this family that are incredibly wealthy, and they're like famous and super popular, and they're just like crazy rich. Like I think like they're kind of like the equivalent to like the Kardashians, is what I would think. And in the first episode, they lose their whole fortune. Like they lose everything except for this one asset, a town called Schitt's Creek, which the dad in the show bought a few years prior as a joke because the name of the town is Schitt's Creek and it's funny. And so this is the only asset they have. So they have to basically take nothing and they have to move into this town, which is this like hick town with these really funny characters and these really funny people, and they have to kind of like start their lives over in poverty.
When it's time to lay down your weary head, you'll find comfort and safety at the partially renovated Rosebud Motel. And don't forget to say hello to your handsome proprietor, Mr. Jonathan Rose.
Thank you for having us.
John, no.
Yes, there will be blood. And yes, you will be horror-struck.
Who wrote that?
I did.
Are you ready for a total physical and emotional transformation?
Nah.
Yay!
What is happening?
I once dated someone who left me for a stuffed animal. I'm not having my big day, our big day, compromised because Alexis wanted to chill in a tankini for 6 months.
Who's excited, huh?
Huzzah.
Have a very pleasant stay.
The truth is that I'm really gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you as well.
As lucky as I feel to have met David, I also feel incredibly lucky to be joining your family.
You know, maybe there's something more out there for me.
Thank you, Rose. There is value in these motels. My family and I have been staying in a motel for the past 3 years. And I wouldn't trade our stay there for anything.
And so there's the mom, the dad, and then they have 2 adult children who are just so spoiled. And they all kind of start off, they're awful and they're arrogant and they're just like think they're above everybody else. But you watch them through the seasons come to fall in love with this town and the people of this town and watch them learn how to be kind and generous. And it's just nice. It's just nice and it's funny. Probably my favorite thing about the show is that it has a really quirky sense of humor. Honestly, I watched the first episode and I was like, I'm not into this. I was like, I'm not into this. But I came back around a couple of weeks later and I tried it again. And once you get like past the first couple episodes and once you kind of start to understand the humor, it's really funny. It's very hilarious, and that's like but it's different, and that's what I really like about it. It's not like just kind of your normal like slapstick sitcom kind of humor. It's very smart. My financial takeaway from the show is when you're super rich and famous and you have like a business manager who manages all of your finances for you, make sure that there's someone you trust, because in the show they lose all of their money because their business manager hadn't been paying their taxes for like years. And so the show starts with the government. The government's literally like raiding their house, taking away all their stuff because they never paid taxes because they thought that their business manager was doing it, but he was not. So if you're gonna have a business manager, make sure you trust them.
Nice takeaway. Where is this set? So you said it was a hick town. Is it like in a fictional village, or is it in like an actual city?
Yes,
okay.
It's a fictional place, and I'm not exactly sure where it is. I guess somewhere in the South. I don't really know.
And do they all have like the Southern accents?
Yeah, they're all pretty Southern. There's like the mayor of the town, and he's just absolutely ridiculous and wants to try to be like best friends with this family, and they're just like, ew, please. It's just great. I don't know. I can't say anything else about it without I don't know. The humor is it's just smart, and it's just different. It's just a different kind of funny. And so if you're looking for something different, it's definitely for you. Give it some time. Don't just like write it off after the first episode like I did. Like watch a couple episodes in and see if it might be for you. Yeah.
Like the sound of it. Let's have a look. Talking about a different kind of humor, we'll move on to my show now, which is a show called Little Britain, which is one of my favorite kind of sketch comedy shows. And for those of you that might know, it's made by Matt Lucas and David Walliams, who are like two really famous comedians in the UK. And for you Americans, this is streaming on Hulu, and for us Brits, it's on Netflix UK. Sorry, Netflix US. And the basic premise of the show is it tours around Britain, and it goes to really over-exaggerated like parody characters of different British people. So they play like the Prime Minister in one scene. They play like a woman who's at like a Weight Watchers group. They play like a gay Welshman. And these are two men which are in every single scene. So they play every single character. They'll dress up as women. They'll dress up as babies. Yes, Eva, go.
Is this like Key and Peele?
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
I think this sounds like Key and Peele. Key and Peele is a sketch show, and it's two guys, and they play all the characters. Continue. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is near enough exactly the same thing.
Okay.
But they just play people from all around the UK, and it's just so funny, the different sketches, and it's a massive like. It's a storyline, so the characters progress throughout the 3 seasons, but each and every sketch you can watch and you'll find it funny, because you don't really need context for a lot of the stuff that they do. Like one of the characters that I mentioned, Matt Lucas dresses up as a woman in a group called Fat Fighters, which is similar to Weight Watchers. And it's just so funny, where he basically berates the people that go to this Weight Watchers meeting. And he's got like massive piles of cake and then massive piles of fruit, and it's amazing because the story just kind of progresses every single time they cut to it.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's a really famous character that they have called Andy, and he's in a wheelchair and he's like disabled. He can't move. I think he's paralyzed or something, and he's got a carer which looks after him, which is the other character. But whenever the carer walks away, this guy in a wheelchair will just do whatever he wants. And then when he comes back, he'll act like nothing ever happened. So I think one scene, he's like, he's watching a TV show and he's saying to his carer, like, oh, I don't want to watch this show. And he's like, okay, well, you can watch it. And he's like, no, I don't want to. So then the guy walks out of the room. He gets up off of his wheelchair, bearing in mind he's not supposed to walk. He moves over to the TV, he smashes it, and then walks back to his wheelchair and acts like nothing ever happened. And the other guy comes in, he's like, what happened to the TV? And he's like, I don't know. And that's my really bad like Liverpudlian accent.
What is that accent you're doing? I love it.
It's Liverpool, so that's like kind of northwest England. Okay. But it's just such a funny show. And yeah, you can watch near enough any episode and you don't really need context because the characters are insane, the storylines are insane, and it's just really light-hearted viewing. And that's probably the favorite thing about the show for me is the extent of the characters. Like, I think they did over 100 characters in all of the series, but they have like the reoccurring ones, but they've just got so many different plots. They go to all around the country. So if you really want to see the real Britain, you can see different parts in a very over-exaggerated way. And my financial takeaway, it was tricky for this, but one of the kind of backstories of the show is they started this show on the radio. So this was like a radio sketch comedy. So it was just kind of audio. And then they moved it to, I think it was BBC Two, which is like one of the second biggest networks in the UK. And then they moved it to BBC One. And they basically climbed the ranks just through popularity alone. So it wasn't money. They didn't pay to get to the top. So my financial takeaway is you don't need a ton of money to get to the top. Just work hard and you'll get there.
That's good. Beautiful. I love it. That sounds really good. I really like British humor. I mean, like that's very you're like British humor, it's just different. Like sometimes it's, I don't know, you guys are very just dry and sarcastic, but I'm super into it.
We're very dry.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. That sounds really funny. Yeah, we have a sketch show called Key and Peele. And they're two comedians, and it's basically sounds like the same thing. But Fat Fighters, that's funny. That cracked me up.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's
Fat Fighters.
The show can be quite offensive. It can be racist. It can be all of those things. But I mean, it's just really, really funny. As long as you're not offended by that kind of humor, it's great.
That's great. That's amazing. Well, those are our shows, guys. Wow. Amazing.
We've been through 10 different shows.
That's crazy. Oh man, I'm so excited for next week's episode. We are going to have a special episode completely dedicated to Tiger King. It's gonna be great. Jordan I watched it a couple weeks ago. Jordan has just finished watching all of the episodes, right?
So yeah, I hadn't watched Tiger King until about 2 days ago, and I've just binge watched all 7 episodes in 2 days. So I'm now an expert. Let's do this.
Now, as a non-American, how did that make you feel about our country as a whole?
I mean, I know that's not a representation of America as a whole, but I was just dumbfounded. There's no other word for it other than what the heck did I just watch? So
I think everyone felt basically the same way.
So we can discuss more in depth next week.
Exactly. So we will be at you guys next week with our Tiger King special. Hope you will check it out. Definitely go back and watch our other 4 previous episodes, and next week's gonna be our last one. It's gonna be our last one.
Go out with a bang.
I know. It's gonna be sad, y'all. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you here next week.
See you later.
Bye.